You're listening to the Presidential Experience Podcast, the place where we chronicle man's search for meaning over money. I'm your host, Kanae Corder, National Certified Counselor and Clinical Hypnotherapist specializing in financial therapy for high achievers. As a former Morgan Stanley financial advisor, I realized that high achievers needed help with more than just the numbers. And I bring a unique set of skills to my private practice as I guide CEOs and high achievers on how to manage their stress so they can enjoy their success. I want to bring some of that to you here. So each week, we'll start a discussion addressing one of the top stressors for high achievers. You've built a stellar resume. Now it's time for you to build a stellar life. Your hard work brought you money. Now it's time to turn that money into meaning here on the Presidential Experience Podcast. What's the meaning of life, Kanae? That's a question many of my patients ask me in my private practice. Are you asking that question? Man's search for meaning over money can be stressful. Would you like some guidance? Would you like to reduce the stress associated with searching for the meaning of life? Here's what you can do. Start by taking our Meaning of Life quiz. Go to presidentiallifestyle.com/meaning-quiz. It'll give you insight into how far or close you are to finding the meaning of life. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever asked someone for directions? Of course you have. We all have. But what is the first thing they need to know when you ask them, how do I get here? They ask you, well, where are you coming from? So the first step in finding the meaning of life is determining where you are in life right now. Are you a chief? Are you a mayor? Maybe you're a governor. Or maybe you're a president and you just haven't figured that out yet. Get the steps to finding the meaning of life. And you know what? You may not be that far away, but you don't know if you don't take the quiz. So go to presidentiallifestyle.com/meaning-quiz. That's presidentiallifestyle.com/meaning-quiz. At the end, give us your email address and we'll give you a special audio training that'll help guide you to finding the meaning of life and turning your money into meaning. So go to presidentiallifestyle.com/meaning-quiz. Take the quiz. It'll only take you about 5 minutes. It's totally free. Give us your email address and we'll give you that special audio training that will guide you through turning your money into meaning and finding the meaning of life. You can go now or you can go later. The link is in the show notes. Either way, I'll see you there. Valentine's Day could be ruining your love life. Yes, I did mean to say that. Yes, I know what I'm saying. Yes, I know some of you are so invested in it. Men, I know why you're invested in it, because you've been told to. Women, I know why you're invested in it, because you've been told to, but for different reasons. Let's connect. Let's talk about Valentine's Day, and let's really get down deep to, what do we expect from Valentine's Day? Why do we expect that? And what if we could do something different? That's what we're going to talk about today here on the Presidential Experience Podcast. Thank you for joining me. And you might have already left because you might be mad at me because I bashed Valentine's Day. I've never been a really big fan of Valentine's Day. But as I get older, I become less of a fan of it. Now, I will tell you my sweet, darling, most valuable Valentine's Day story. I will. I'm going to tell you that. And then I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't put so much emphasis on Valentine's Day. Okay, so first, I'll tell you about my most awesome Valentine's Day happened when I was 18 years old. Can you believe that? Yes. At 18 years old, I had an incredible Valentine's Day. So at our school, we had this, and maybe you had it at your high school as well. We had this flower campaign or whatever. So before Valentine's Day, you would need to order flowers. You need to go to like the office and say, hey, I want to order flowers for this person or that person. And most people are sending one carnation to a few of their friends. Now, if a guy and a girl are dating, then he may see a few more, but it's going to be carnations and it's going to come on that day and he's going to say, hey, send Cindy these carnations. And they pay, I think it was like maybe $1 or a flower or something like that, or maybe even cheaper. But that was what you did on Valentine's Day at my school. In my senior year, now never before was I dating anybody at the school. In fact, it was something I was like against until this particular person. And you may have heard me talk about my best friend or one of my best friends, and you may have seen pictures on Instagram or whatever. One of my best friends is named Chavez. He's also a part of the company. And we dated when we were in high school. And so this story is about when we were dating. So Chavez is not the most romantic guy you ever want to meet. Not even still, not at this age. Unless he really puts forth some effort. Like most of the time, he's not even thinking about that kind of stuff. He thinks really deeply and about all kinds of stuff in the world, but not so much about romance. But when we were 18 years old, he was kind of learning the ropes of dating, and I was his first girlfriend. He was my second boyfriend, and my previous boyfriend was so non-romantic. He was like, tough guy. I don't do that kind of stuff. And some of it shaped the way that I saw Valentine's Day, and some of it just was like, him. So I was like, so going back to this day, this Valentine's Day in 1992, I think it was like third period. I can't even believe I remember all these details. Third period is when they delivered the flowers, the carnations. And so everybody's getting their carnations and the volunteers are delivering them from classroom to classroom. And in comes one volunteer with a giant bouquet of lavender and yellow roses, 2 dozen. And they walk to my desk. Can you imagine so many emotions went through my brain. I was like, holy crap, like this is a lot of flowers. Like, wait a minute, is this for me? Like, who sent me these? Oh, Chavez. This is so not him. Like, what? Why am I getting 2 dozen? Why are they in my favorite colors? Because I had 2 favorite colors at the time, purple and yellow. And I was just blown away. My whole mind was blown. I did not think this man was capable of this. And at the time, he was even a boy, if we're honest. And I didn't even know I wanted 2 dozen roses. Like, I guess I asked for flowers. I'm sure I told him, you need to make sure I'm getting one of those carnations. Do not have me walking around this school empty-handed. Sure, I told him that. And he one-upped me. I mean, man, I'm proud. I don't even remember because there's no emotion associated with whether I gave him a carnation or not, right? So I don't even have a memory of whether he got a carnation. Likely, because that's the kind of generous girlfriend I am. But I definitely did not give him 2 dozen roses. And oh my gosh, like part of me was a little embarrassed, if I'm honest. I was just like, oh God, did he really go this far? But then the whole entire day, I got so much attention. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Let me see them. Let me smell them. They were beautiful. B-E-A, beautiful. The most beautiful flowers you've ever want to see, especially because they came so unexpected. Just it was awesome. And to this day, I still have that as my favorite Valentine's Day. Now, part of the reason is because I'm just not that into Valentine's Day. So when it comes to it, I let guys off the hook a lot of times. I'm like, do whatever you want or not, because I'm not. So, and I let them know, like, I'm not doing anything for Valentine's Day. I'm just not a holiday person. You're not going to tell me what day I'm going to show my significant other that I love them. And we're going to talk more about that in just a second. So I haven't had many more amazing Valentine's days, but I have had amazing relationships, despite the fact that Valentine's Day was not a big part of them. Do you see where I'm going with this? Valentine's Day is so insignificant, yet we make it so big of a deal, and we don't even know why. So let's talk about why. What the heck is Valentine's Day? I looked it up, but then I decided I was going to share it here, and then I decided, no, I want you to look it up. Go Google Valentine's Day, and first of all, look at the different options of what Valentine's Day is, how it got started. You'll see several different ways of explaining it. Some of them are pretty much similar, but it's just the fact that it can be interpreted so many different ways. And yet, something that happened so long ago that was pertinent for that time is still entrenched in our culture today. Unbelievable. Now, what I didn't research is what Valentine's Day is in other countries. So this might just be an American thing. So those of you who are listening outside of America, maybe you follow American traditions, so you're celebrating it as well. Maybe you don't, and you're like, what is Valentine's Day? I say, go Google it too. You might know, you may not. But anyway, the fact that something that happened so long ago is guiding how I feel about my significant other in this moment today is ridiculous, guys. It's ridiculous. So go and look it up and see if that even resonates with you, because you celebrate Valentine's Day because somebody told you to. And men, you celebrate Valentine's Day because women like it. Because women, let me tell you, if you didn't tell this man to buy you something on Valentine's Day, he would not be thinking about it. He could care less. Yeah, will he be there for the Super Bowl? Was he there for the Super Bowl last week or week before last or whatever? Absolutely, because that is important to him. Valentine's Day is not. And he sees winning a game, champion, like that's meaningful to him. But buying you flowers on a day that somebody that he just can't connect to that. It just doesn't make sense to him. And if you leave him to his own devices, he's not going to do anything. So I want to bring this up. Ladies, if you're looking and saying, I'm not going to tell him what I want, I'm going to have him do his work to figure it out and, put forth all the effort. Don't do that. You're ruining your love life. Don't do that. If you want something for Valentine's Day, give him a list. Say, hey, these are the things I would like for Valentine's Day, if you guys celebrate that. But don't leave him to fail, because that's what you're doing. That is so unfair. Man, am I right?
Yeah, I need backup.
Because if he doesn't get it right, you're going to be all upset. And he made all of that effort for nothing. Because trust me, he will make the effort, but it might not be right. Because he will make the effort because he loves you. And because he wants to make sure he gets some at the end of the night. But okay, you knew that. You knew that, right? That's no big secret. But that's part of why he does it. And men like to win. And so he has to be able to say, oh, yeah, I won. It's part of the reason why Chavez bought the 24 roses on February 14, 1992. And why it's still in my head, because he went over and beyond. He won. It was nobody at that school that could compare. Nobody. And we weren't even, were we seniors? I guess we were. Yeah, we were seniors. And so we were the top, the upperclassmen, but still nobody was touching my roses. And so not only did he win, I won too. So this is part of the reason why women love Valentine's Day so much, is so that people can come up to them like they came up to me and say, oh my gosh, he must love you so much. Well, yeah, he does. But this 24 roses is not how I know that. It's, more substantial and meaningful things rather than some flowers that are going to die in less than a week, and yeah, they're in my favorite color. So the thought that was put into these roses, now that is impressive. But the fact that they came on a certain day that somebody told them, and I told him, I believed in that at that time. So do you really, this is my question to you, do you really want to celebrate a day just because somebody told you this was the day to celebrate your love? And do you want to only get your love on that day? Is that enough? Is getting your love on Valentine's Day enough for you? These are questions you need to ask yourself, because all of this is programming. You've been programmed. This tradition, it's a tradition challenge, is what I call it, a tradition challenge. You're challenged by the fact that you're attached to these traditions, but they have no merit. You really don't even know why you do it. And maybe many of you have heard the story about there was a lady that cooked, I think it was like a ham or something like that. And every time she made this ham, she cut the back of the ham off. And so one day, her husband is asking her, why does she cut the back of the ham off? Because I think maybe he was preparing the ham that day. And she says, I don't know. That's just the way you make ham. Like, cut the back off and put it in the pot or the pan and slap it in the oven. And she thought nothing of it. But he was curious. And he's like, I got to know. So he calls his mother-in-law. Oh, no, he calls his sister-in-law. And he asked if she knew. I noticed that when you guys make the ham, you always cut the back off. And I just want to know why. Why do we do that? Oh, I don't know. Ask mom. So he calls his mother-in-law and he asks her. And she says, oh, I don't know either. Let me call my mother. So she calls her mother and she says, why do we cut the back off the ham? And the mother-in-law says, oh, because the pan that I owned at the time was too small for a bigger ham. So I had to cut the backs off because the ham was too big so it could fit in the pan. But nowadays we have so many different pan options and they're not even that expensive that nobody has to cut the back of a ham off anymore. But because they never even asked, they never questioned this tradition, they just thought it was part of the ham baking process. And it is not. That might not be the first time you heard that story. But I just needed to say that for those who haven't heard it, but also to drive my point in. Why are you doing Valentine's Day? Because it could be ruining your love life. You could be coming in between a great connection that you could have with your significant other. Now, I'm not assuming that this is only important to women. I know that some men put a lot of stock in Valentine's Day. This is when I want to propose. This is when I'm going to actually, buy that really expensive gift or buy her some jewelry. This is when I'm going to win. I'm going to get some points. Yes, men love their points. And they don't do much unless it's points involved. And they know that points come on Valentine's Day. So they may put some effort into it, but it's only because of that. It's not necessarily because of love. And you've made it because of love when that isn't what it is at all. Because if a man is told to do something, he will do it if he feels like he'll get a win on the other side. But that's not necessarily because he loves you. He will do some things because he loves you, but this particular thing is so he can win, so he doesn't have to hear your mouth. I mean, hey, this presidential experience, we're honest. He doesn't have to hear your mouth, so that maybe you can go out and tell your friends how great that he was, and he kind of gets his reputation out there that he's the man. Yeah, so none of this has to do with love, though. Do you see where I'm going? So this is why it's ruining your love life, because it doesn't have anything to really do with love. Do the research. Check your gut. Check your heart. Because what do you really want on Valentine's Day? That's a question you'll have to ask yourself. And here's the other thing. So I asked, do you only want something on Valentine's Day, right? That one day. Is that enough? If he just blows it out, give you a big old Valentine's Day bash, if he just blows it out, and you get spoiled on Valentine's Day, can he just take the rest of the year off? Yeah. See, I had to get quiet and give you some time to think about that. Yeah. Is that what you want? Is that how important Valentine's Day is for you? Because let me tell you, if you're a lady and you're listening to this, if you're a man and you're listening to this, you're like, yes, I've got to play this when my wife is in the car, right? But if you're a lady and you're listening to this, I want you to understand that that is what you're telling him. You are telling him, blow it out, and then you can take the rest of the year off. And that's because, again, men are competitive. And so that's how he hears it. He's like, oh, okay, that's what you want. I'll do that. Just make it easy on me. Tell me what you want or whatever. I'll blow it out on Valentine's Day. And then I sit back in my recliner the rest of the year. Don't let him off the hook. Let him love you all year round. Let him love you all year round. Make him love you all year round. So, man, am I right? I mean, really, if you put that much emphasis on Valentine's Day, he's going to Forget all the rest of the days. And I know, men, you're like, no, not exactly. I mean, I love my wife all year round. I know, but you know how you guys are. When you do that, you're like, all right. You start to compete. You're like, all right, that's what you want. I'll give you exactly what you want. What? It is Tuesday, June 3rd. I don't have to do anything. What are you talking about? I got 6-7 more months before I have to do anything special. So as a lady, I just want to make you guys aware of that. And men, I want to make you aware that in the back of your mind, you could be taking some days off because it's not Valentine's Day. If you haven't thought about that, but I know you have. I know you have. But do you want love all year round? And what would that look like? And can you just have a conversation with your man, with your woman? Can you have a conversation? Because if you can't, that's a problem. Yes, and I don't use that word often, problem, but that's a problem. If you can't talk about the fact that Valentine's Day means nothing to you and you still don't quite understand why it means so much to her or him. So here's my first challenge for you. First thing I would like you to do is to go ahead and have a conversation about what Valentine's Day means to you. A real conversation. Not because you were in third grade and they told you you're supposed to do this, because that's where it starts. In grade school, we start celebrating this thing. And then by the time we're adults, it's programmed. So have a conversation. What does Valentine's Day mean to you? What would you like it to mean? What are you expecting out of Valentine's Day? What do you expect? Because we expect a lot out of Valentine's Day sometimes. Some people get broken up after Valentine's Day. And God forbid you do something on the 15th instead of the 14th. You actually got to get permission not to do something on the day. Hey, I was thinking about celebrating Valentine's Day on Saturday since it's on Wednesday. Is that okay? What? Yes. Do something special for me every day, any day. I love feeling special. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. But can you imagine that somebody needs to get permission to not give you something on a particular day? Do you guys see how crazy it's ridiculous this sounds? And I know some of you are getting angry at me because I'm saying these things sound crazy and ridiculous, because they do. We're not ourselves. We're somebody else. We're programmed. You are not crazy and ridiculous. You're amazing. That's why I don't understand why you are allowing Valentine's Day to ruin your love life. Now, if Valentine's Day is not ruining your love life, I'm not talking to you. Keep doing what you're doing. In fact, share it with others. People need to know, what are you doing? How do you do it? Let us tell, do tell. Let us know, do tell. So what do you expect out of Valentine's Day, and why? Why? Why do you want that? And is it just on Valentine's Day that you want it? All of these are questions you need to have. This is a conversation you need to have with your significant other. Now, what if you want to do something different? What if you just want to let Valentine's Day pass like it was Columbus Day or any other like insignificant holiday? Because I think they're kind of all insignificant. And I know there's some really big ones out there like Christmas and Martin Luther King's birthday and, all of that stuff. And there are a lot of holidays, right? Some bigger than others. And some we overlook and some we don't. Some we give a lot of credence to. Yeah, but we don't know why. And if it's not a strong why, like we're always going back to why here, because if it's not a strong why, then maybe it's time to examine it. Maybe it's time to let it go. Maybe it's time to do something different. What if you could wake up on Valentine's, not even think about it, and go to sleep on Valentine's, not even think about it, and then wake up the next day, and if somebody says, oh, what'd you do for Valentine's Day? Go, nothing, and that'd be okay. Are you capable of that? Can you do that? Yes. The answer is yes, you can, you are. But you've got to have a why for that too. So why would you do that? Maybe because you want the most amazing relationship with constant communication. Now, ladies, let me, I said constant communication and men are like, don't say that. What I mean by constant communication is that when it's needed, when the time is right, then there's some communication that happens. It doesn't mean we always have to talk about the thing, okay? Because timing is important. So communication, constant, meaning that it's always okay to talk about the things that are hurting you at the right time. Got it? Okay. So you want this relationship that's full of love all year round, that has communication in it, that you can say, I don't really care about Valentine's Day, honey. And that'd be okay. No penalty. Because he doesn't have to care about the same things you care about. It's not a requirement for love. A lot of things are not a requirement of love, but that's just the one I'm just going to talk about today. It's not a requirement for love. He or she can fully love you fully and completely, and not want to celebrate Valentine's Day. Those two things can happen at the same time. Love and Valentine's Day are not mutual. They're not synonymous. No. You can love someone and not want to celebrate Valentine's Day. And if they want to celebrate Valentine's Day, you can celebrate Valentine's Day because they would like to and you like pleasing them, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to. So have a conversation around it and say, hey, babe, and this is what I do with Christmas. And I would do the same thing with Valentine's Day too. But I'm a woman dating men. And so when I say I'm not that into Valentine's Day, most of the time they're like, oh, cool. Well, forget that day. Let's do something on another day, any day. It doesn't even matter. Let's just be. But so for Christmas, I don't celebrate Christmas. And if somebody wants to buy me a Christmas present, I don't stop them. That's their thing. I'm an excellent receiver. And that brings people joy to give on Christmas. So if I say, no, you can't give me a gift on Christmas, I'm blocking their good feeling or, that thing that people feel when they give. The saying is better to give to receive. Now, I don't subscribe to that saying, but a lot of people do. And so they feel really good when they give. And so I'm not going to block that. I'll receive that. But I do make sure they understand that I don't celebrate Christmas. So if they buy me a gift, that may not be reciprocated. In fact, it won't be reciprocated. So they can't expect that from me. Now, do I love them all year round? Can they call me anytime? Can they call me at 6:00 in the morning on a Tuesday for assistance? Absolutely, because that's the kind of friend I am, or daughter, or sister, whatever I am. But not expect a Christmas gift from me. And, for some people that's hard. And some people it took years. So this brings me to my last point. If you have been celebrating Valentine's Day and you decide, man, this is kind of ruining our love life. It's coming between us. It's not really that important. I'd rather be in love. I'd rather love each other. I'd rather like each other rather than have Valentine's Day. If this is a thing, then if you're feeling this and you want to try this, then okay, edit that out. My suggestion is start today. Just having a conversation about what would you like Valentine's Day to be and why is it important to you? And if you could adjust that. And then maybe the next year, so this year you don't have to do a crash course in Valentine's Day and change everything. Next year you could do something different. And the year after that, and the year after that. When I stopped celebrating Christmas, it was slow. First I stopped buying the adults presents and just buying the kids. And then eventually I weaned off of that. And then, people would like, oh, I don't understand. And so, and I did go pretty far, 1 or 2 years. And then they're like, you know what, I can be at the Christmas stuff, but I'm not going to indulge completely. I'm not having it at my house, but I will come to your Christmas thing. So I acknowledge Christmas. I realize it's a thing. I realize it's very important to some people. I just help them realize that it's not important to me. It's not a thing for me. And so my birthday is the next day. And that's when you can pour all the gifts on me that you want. I don't expect any gifts for Christmas. So that's my spiel, right? Think about it. Don't let Valentine's Day ruin your love life, because you want love, right? You want affection, you want passion, intimacy, all of that. And none of that is synonymous with Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day could go away. The world could decide that this is the last Valentine's Day that's coming up in a few days, and then you would never have it again. What would happen then? You'd get on board because society said it, so you would. And you'd probably fight at the beginning a little bit, but you'd let it go, and eventually you wouldn't even remember Valentine's Day. Somebody say, remember Valentine's Day? You go like, oh my gosh, yeah, I do remember that. Ooh. Yeah. So that's my point. I'm glad we had this conversation. If you want to talk more about this, you want to send me questions, you want to tell me how upset you are with me with making this, you can do that too. You're allowed to your opinion. Totally, I get it. But if you want to have this conversation further, DM me on Instagram or email us at podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. If you want to have a private conversation with me about this, you'd have to book me, but I would be totally open to talking to couples about this. I really, really would. I mean, it would be my pleasure. It would be a joy. And like I said, you'd have to book it. It would be a service that I provide. It would not be complimentary, but it's definitely something I am open to talking to couples about because I do it on a regular basis. And men, if you just want an outlet, if you just want to say, oh my gosh, I got to do this Valentine's Day thing, and you can't get out of it because she is just not going to let you get out of it, I'll have that conversation with you too. Okay. Again, it will be a service. It will not be complimentary, but however, I am here for you. Now, what is complimentary is for you to take the meaning of life quiz. So don't forget to do that. Okay. You're going to go to presidentiallifestyle.com/meaning-quiz and take the meaning of life quiz. It's going to help you see some things differently, like this Valentine's Day thing. And we can go deeper if you like after that. Just take the quiz, give us your best email, and let's go from there. All right then, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you sooner. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Want to reduce your stress even more? Here are 4 ways you can do it. 1, send us your questions. Ask us anything about money, marriage, or maturing. You can send it to podcast@presidentiallifestyle.com. Number 2, subscribe to this podcast. You wouldn't want to miss an episode. That would be stressful. And number 3, get our Prosperity Report recap. It's a free resource where we share top tools and resources. Just go to presidentiallifestyle.com/blog/prosperity report. Don't worry, it's in the show notes. You won't have to remember that. And 4, if you really want to connect with us in a deep and powerful way, join our private club. Go to joinpresidentialexperience.com to find out when our doors open again. We want you to be there so you can turn your money into meaning. And if you're enjoying this podcast, go ahead and leave us a rating and a comment, and we'll be sure to thank you. And now for the legalese. Remember, this podcast is not to replace professional counsel. The best advice comes from a professional you know. The topics discussed in this podcast are general in nature and are for informational and entertainment purposes only. We encourage you to meet with a professional that you can discuss your specific situation with, whether therapeutic or otherwise. That's all for now. I'll see you next episode. And remember, you can have wealth in all of its forms. Believe it, and you will soon see it.